What's going on, you guys? Hope you guys been doing good. I'm back with another trading review. This is my second month of trading. So this is from May 13th to June 12th. And I gotta be honest with you, I'm pretty worn down. I'm still fighting. I'm going through the battle against the market, and it's taking a toll on my mental state. It was another rough month. I had 18.28% of my account lost. And I know I said that I would be making improvements from last month, and I did overall make a slight improvement last month. From April 12th to May 10th, I got the change in my account was 20.23% in losses. So I decreased my losses by about 2%. It's very small steps forward, but it's just my second month, so I'm gonna put my best foot forward and keep on trying to fine tune my strategies. The craziest thing is I did not really expect this necessarily. Because in the past week to 2 weeks, I've actually been taking the Warrior Trading course, so watching all the Warrior Trading videos. And I've actually been adding more money into my account, so I have more room for a stop loss. So I'm not always stopped out immediately before it ends up making like a reversal. But I'm gonna show you my two worst trades, just like I did last month. So first, let's see my total losses. So my total losses ended up being $854.39, which to me is it's pretty terrible. It's definitely a hit to my pride. And I put in I started off with 3,700 in my account. Then I added 4,000 throughout the month. But I found that I think it's because when I was adding more, I felt that I was able to take more risk because since I had a higher stop loss. And what ended up happening is I was taking bigger losses more consistently. And my biggest losses, so I had one, two, three, four, five stocks that were over 100 in losses. So definitely had multiple days where I was losing my maximum risk, which is around 2%. Sometimes I will try to keep it one when I'm really on point with my risk management. So I'm just gonna go through those. I'm gonna try to make this video a lot quicker because I've noticed that I take pretty long, kind of drag on videos. So I'm just gonna go through this. So interesting part about these two stocks. So my worst stocks they were at the end of the month. They were at the end of that period, and it's pretty much happened at a time where I had the most money in my account, and B, I had the most knowledge because I've really been studying hard lately. So it's not supposed to make sense, but I'm gonna try to figure out why this is happening. So June 10th, PRVB, a bunch of trades here. That's already kind of a bad sign. A bit of over trading. 2.54% of my account, so over the 2% threshold. In my notes here, stock in play being a huge gainer. Thought it was a bit overextended with multiple pullbacks in the pre-market. However, I thought it could break the half dollar and whole dollar up to 12. It was below 11. It opened and popped above 11, and I was in. As fast as it went above, it pulled back. Lots of volume, so I added more on the pullback, going into dangerous territory. It just got worse and worse from here as I kept averaging down and buying on slight jumps. This stock ran its course. Doing my best not to let this one get to me. Thought I had new strategies from Warrior Trading figured out. Need to cool off for a bit. Terrible start to the week. So I'm not sure what you guys do when you guys take if those of you who are watching Warrior Traders take notes, but it's great to track your emotional state as well. And my emotional state, it's still very very jumpy, pretty often, like especially during the opening bell. I'm too apprehensive when it comes to keeping profits. I mean, when it comes to holding a stock for profit, but then I hold a stock for a loss, which is it's not a good idea. I'm holding stocks too long for losses, but I'm getting rid of them quickly to get profits. So, anyways, for continuing on the notes here, so I finally got the prop I wanted. I was back in. This was so volatile. I bought and sold multiple times to get back profit. Kind of scary, required quick thinking, which I'm not too adept at yet. It's really about to break 14, so I left the trade, and that's when it finally pulled its reversal and spiked up. There was a circuit breaker halt on this one from 945 to 950, and it ended up going up over 16. So had I planned this right, I could have walked away with over 400. So let's take a look. So the first couple trades were pretty bad. Lost 40, 37, 40, 40, 20. Then, so I remember this day. So what had happened is I lost all this money. How much was that? So I was about 181 down before actually more, because this is in US. So that was about 243 that I was down in Canadian dollars. So I was pretty upset when this happened, and I kind of knew that there had to be a way I could get in on this stock. Really, it should have been a warning not to go for a day, but I let my emotions get the best of me, and I went back in, and I started recouping profits. So I got 14, 24, 14, 19, 11. So I got back $84. And then that ended up being a loss of 128 Canadian. So I did make the recovery, but it's not something that I'm proud of. But let's go and break down this trade. There was a lot of price action happening in the pre-market. So this thing had already pulled back once, pulled back a second time, and it actually had multiple pullbacks. So it was definitely getting stretched out a bit before the market opened. When they opened, as you can see, I was trying to break the whole dollar at 11. It pulled back, so I couldn't break the whole dollar. So the whole dollar, I kind of learned from Warrior Trading and just watching another video that I downloaded from somebody else. And Ross did say that it was pretty risky, so I got hit with the pullback, and then I averaged down here, averaged down again, and then I sold off, took the losses. Then I waited for a bit, then I got back in, and then I started selling again. So what were some takeaways from this trade that I could have did better? Well, I could have definitely been tighter with my stop loss, and as soon as it pulled back, because I waited here for the pullback, I averaged down during the pullback. Actually, I should have just sold off right that first point where I averaged down. I should have just sold off. That was like 30 seconds later, 30 seconds later I could have pulled out and took my losses, which would have been 11.17 minus 10.62. So I would have taken a $55 loss if I just said, okay, I'm gonna sell out, get rid of my position on this pullback. So instead of just taking a $55 loss, I kept going, and then I kept going to the point that I was over 200 down. So that's why it's important to just let go of the ego and just take your stop, and just no one to exit, no one to bail out. Breakout or bailout mentality, and it didn't break out, and yet I didn't bail out. And I guess that was a key takeaway that I'd say from this trade. And NBY was the next worst trade that I had. And NBY, I lost 88 US here. So this was another day where my emotions got to me. So after I had one shitty trade, I had to bounce back. That's why I ended up actually staying within my risk range. So I was 1.53%, and my maximum is 2%. And the 2% I got from Andrew Aziz from Bear Bull Traders. But so with NBY, the stock satisfied criteria. I did not buy in right away. I watched sell-off. Originally planned a reversal, waiting until it broke previous high. Then I realized instead of 435, which was my target to enter the buy, once it broke 4, it would pop. So I was in, went 200 shares today instead of the usual 100, because I had a quick scalp plan where I would enter and take 100 off right away once I got 10 cents in profit. Poor strategy, the flags were bearish, and 4 proved to be resistance rather than a breakout. I was analyzing the 5-minute for display. I waited, and it still went sideways, but it's my fault for trying new strategies when I barely got this one fleshed out. So another mistake I've been making is it's hard to just go with every single strategy you're learning, because these are all new strategies to me. So it doesn't make sense to go a different strategy every day when I should spend even at least probably a month to master one strategy, even if it's not working the first week. But I know it's due to my mental state. I keep jumping from strategy to strategy because I'm so desperate to make that next dollar. So MBY, so couldn't break the whole dollar. So this was similar, if you look back to June 10th with PRVB. This one broke the whole dollar, but it pulled back. With MBY, it also broke the whole dollar and it pulled back as well. Another big mistake that I made is I went in with double the usual size. So I've been strict to my size, keeping it at 100 shares every trade. 100, so let's say I take 10-cent loss, which is usually a reasonable stop loss. 10-cent loss is $10. But it allows me to go up to around 40-50 cents, take a $50 loss, which wouldn't mess me up too badly. Now that I'm doubling to 200 shares, that gets doubled. So if I take a 10-cent loss, it's $20. So if I lose from 30 cents down, I'm $60 down the trade. So you can see where it could start getting dangerous there. So originally 435 was my target. Another big mistake I made was I lowered my target to 4. But that might not even be a big mistake, because the new level to beat was around 4 based on this red candle. Well, actually more, I guess 405. Quick scalp plan just did not work out. I also realized that I'm not quick enough for scalping. If I want to scalp, I have to get better at just jamming the buttons on my computer, hitting hotkeys, hitting buttons, and getting on it. I was watching the 5-minute, and the 5-minute, as you can see, it was trending down. So even though it popped on the hole, I just completely disregarded these 3 red candles in a row. The volume, there's a lot of sellers, and really that's it for this trade. Those are this kind of the big mistakes that I made for this one. For both of these, they were stocks in place. So I did kind of pick winners that, well, quote unquote, there's winners, because if somebody with more experience who was better equipped in terms of just a mental capacity to handle these trades, I'm sure they would have been able to capitalize on this a lot better than I did. But maybe they weren't stocks in play, but based on the criteria I've been following for warrior traders, which I do have right here, stock selection, 6 criterion. It was a gapper. So these were both gappers, gapping up by over 10%. But those are my 2 worst trades. And I'm just going to wrap up here. I'm going to definitely make another video just to tell you guys about my experience with Dash Trader and Interactive Brokers so far. But this is my trading review for this month. I find it's crazy that towards the end of the second month, where my experience is supposed to have pretty much be the best it could be, it just keeps getting worse. So I need to look into why it keeps getting worse. Maybe I'm getting too comfortable with the risk because of the fact that I added 4,000 to my account, because of the fact that I think that I know more with the strategies. But it's clear that the more strategies I have, the more money I have, it makes me lose sight and lose focus, because I'm so desperate at the same time to make money, just because of the situation I'm in with my life, financial situation, my health. And that desperation for the next dollar is really what's screwing me up. And it's a lot of psychology involved. And I'm going to start looking more into psychology. Like, I've been listening to the Trading Nut podcast, and they had a podcast on trader psychology the other day. And it was definitely very eye-opening, and something that I was able to consider in my own trading style. And I'd recommend that you also take a look at your own psychology, your own emotions, because really, I noticed what happens with this is that I could read and I could watch videos and I could be like, okay, that's how you do it. But then once I get in the moment, it's like my mind, my heart goes into another direction. So that's it for today. I hope you got something from this video. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you don't like. Let me know what I can improve on. Have a great day. Be back soon.
Yeah, I got this stank face in the bank late. I never stay up late or take a vacation. Yeah, it's like give me space. I need a thing. Left my old ways for new renovate.